Hi, good day, everyone. I am J.R. Espinilla, and I'm here to discuss the lesson 13, which the definition of learning environment and figure 12. But first, let's have an activity. Our activity named Tech Scavenger. Our group setup is divide into small group of 3 students each. Each group will receive a scavenger hunt list. After the game, you will answer this 2 questions. What is relationship of our activity in our new lesson? A tech scavenger hunt is a modern, interactive activity that clearly demonstrates how learning environments have evolved in the digital age. But before that, watch this short video.
Almost all of us have spent a great deal of time in the classroom, beginning in kindergarten and extending for years beyond. Have you ever noticed what the teacher did to make learning more inviting? Was it colorful posters, clear and consistent rules, and fun and interesting teaching methods? If so, you are lucky to have a teacher who paid close attention to the learning environment, or the physical, psychological, and instructional atmosphere. Ms. Martin is a teacher skilled in providing her students with a positive learning environment. Should we peek in and see what's going on in her classroom? Here we go. Ms. Martin has learned over the years that the learning environment in her classroom is vital to student success and impacts students in many ways. A negative learning environment, or setting that adversely affects student learning, can affect Ms. Martin's students in many ways, such as low student achievement, poor behavior, student anxiety, or depression. Ms. Martin works hard to maintain a positive learning environment, or one that allows students to feel comfortable and confident as learners. Her students are hard workers and have high achievement levels. What does she do to make her classroom learning environment one where students thrive? Glad you asked. Like we said, Ms. Martin is a smart cookie. She's picked up some handy tools of the trade along the way that help her keep her classroom environment humming with positive energy. Those bright posters, organized spaces, and cooperative learning arrangements aren't an accident. Ms. Martin pays a lot of attention to the physical environment in her classroom. The use of space includes how furniture is arranged and organized, how materials are stored and maintained, how clean the classroom is, and the overall color and brightness. Imagine a classroom that has little light, dirt on the floors, messy bookshelves, and broken supplies. Sound like a fun place to be? Ms. Martin recognizes that children need a clean, bright, organized space to strengthen learning experiences. We've all had a teacher or two that has been a little more vocal than we liked. Teachers who yell at students, are random about consequences, and embody an overall negative attitude aren't good for student learning. The psychological environment in the classroom is how students feel about their learning. Ms. Martin has specific rules and consequences posted in her classroom and clearly explains each to students. She has a calm, patient demeanor and is focused on helping students learn both intellectually and socially. She maintains a positive control of her classroom by being a role model for kind words and actions. She knows that students react negatively when they feel things are unfair, unclear, or are worried about getting in trouble. Because she is clear and consistent, offers praise and gratitude, and sets a good example, her students are confident and comfortable in the classroom. Ms. Martin knows that how she teaches is just as important as what she teaches. If she goes too fast, doesn't explain things, or uses techniques that her students don't understand, her learners won't achieve. The instructional environment is the setting for all teaching. She plans her instruction to make sure her students are able to comprehend by using different teaching practices, such as lecture, hands-on activities, cooperative learning groups, and plenty of small group and individual practice. Ms. Martin's instructional environment remains positive and upbeat, with an air of fun and excitement. Her students will say she makes learning interesting and fun, which means they're engaged and will remember content long term. Like we said, the learning environment can impact students in either a positive or negative way. A positive learning environment encourages student confidence, high academic achievement, good social skills, positive relationships, ability to solve problems, willingness for trial and error and risk-taking. A negative learning environment can lead to low confidence, poor academic achievement, fighting stress and reduced social skills, inability to solve problems, fear of consequences and of taking chances. A positive learning environment has a large impact on how students approach their education. Teachers like Ms. Martin need to be intentional and specific about plans for creating a positive environment. A learning environment is the educational setting and how it looks and feels and can be positive or negative. Teachers can impact the learning environment in many ways, including the physical, psychological, and instructional setting. Students are greatly impacted by the learning environment, and teachers play an important role in controlling the setting. Teachers like Ms. Martin make sure she creates a calm, bright, and organized place to learn. She models kind behavior and has clear and consistent discipline. When she teaches, she uses a variety of styles to make sure all of her students learn. Because she works hard to create a positive learning environment in her classroom, her students are confident, high achievers who are good at solving problems and have strong social skills. Not every student is so lucky. Sometimes students in negative learning environments don't do so well academically and struggle with social skills. Hopefully, teachers like Ms. Martin can show other teachers how to keep an eye on the important concept of the classroom learning environment.
In a short video that I present, teacher Mary Firestone explained the learning environment. So what is learning environment? But before we discuss, please don't forget to take down notes. In this lesson, we begin by understanding the concept of learning environment. When do we say that an environment is a learning environment? Learning environment refers to the diverse physical locations, contexts, and cultures in which students learn. Since students may learn in a wide variety of settings, such as outside of school locations and outdoor environments, the term is often used as a more accurate or preferred alternative to classroom, which has more limited and traditional connotations, a room with rows of desks and a chalkboard, for example. Did you get it? Good job. Now, as you see here in my presentation, the figure 12, it is learning environment from teacher's perspective, based on Bates in 2015, as you can see in the figure 12. The culture, they have 6 major concepts of learning environment. First, learner characteristics, which include learners' goals, prior knowledge, digital natives, diversity, and learning contexts. The second is assessment, include projects, e-portfolio, tests, essay. Third is resources, include technology, facilitators, assistance, and time. Fourth, learner support, which include the counseling, scaffolding, feedback, other students. Fifth is the skills included thinking activities, discussion, skills goals, and practical activities. And last, the content, which includes the content goals, of course, sources, structure, quantity, depth, and activities. Figure 12 shows a teacher's perspective of a learning environment. As illustrated in the model, there are some components where the teacher may have little control, such as the learner's characteristics and the resources. And that is my discussion for the definition of learning environment and figure 12. I hope you learn a lot, and after that, don't forget to answer my assessment in Kahoot. Here the link on my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening, and God bless.